The cleaning lady nobody noticed. Rain hammered the glass windows of the giant office tower in downtown Chicago. Employees rushed through the lobby with coffee cups, expensive suits, and tired faces. But nobody noticed the old woman mopping the marble floor near the elevator. Nobody except the security guard who smiled every morning and said, "Morning, Miss Helen." She always smiled back. "Morning, sweetheart." What nobody knew was that the CEO of this billion-dollar company was her own son. And he had no idea his mother worked there as a cleaner. Helen Carter was 67 years old. Her hands shook a little from arthritis. Her back hurt every night, and her sneakers had tiny holes near the toes. But every single morning at 5 a.m., she took 2 buses across the city just to reach that building before sunrise. Why? Because she needed the money. After her husband died 3 years earlier, hospital bills swallowed almost everything they owned. The little house she once filled with laughter now felt cold and empty. Meanwhile, her son Ryan Carter had become one of the youngest tech CEOs in Chicago. Fancy penthouse, luxury cars, magazine interviews, millions in the bank. People online called him the American dream. There was one thing nobody talked about. Ryan barely called his mother anymore at first. Helen defended him. "He's busy. He's building his future. He'll visit soon." Weeks became months, then birthdays passed. Christmas passed. Even her husband's funeral came and went with only a short text message from Ryan. "Sorry, Mom. Important investor meeting." That message broke something inside her. Still, she loved him. Because mothers are like that. They keep loving even when their hearts are bleeding. One evening, Helen opened her kitchen cabinet and stared at the last can of soup she had left. Her electricity bill sat unpaid on the table. She whispered softly, "Frank, I don't know how much longer I can do this." That's when she saw a newspaper ad. Night cleaning staff needed, Carter Tech headquarters. Her eyes froze on the company name. Carter Tech, her son's company. She almost laughed at the irony. Then she picked up the phone. The hearing manager never recognized her. Why would he? Ryan never displayed family photos, never talked about his personal life. To the company, Helen Carter was just another elderly woman desperate for work. And honestly, that hurt more than she expected. Her first night on the job was brutal. The floors stretched forever. The cleaning carts were heavy. Young employees ignored her completely. Some even left trash on purpose. One guy muttered, "These cleaners move too slow," pretended not to hear it. But inside, every word stung. Still, every night after cleaning the offices, she secretly stopped outside Ryan's glass office door. She'd stand there quietly, just looking at him, her little boy. Now wearing $1,000 suits while yelling into conference calls. Sometimes he looked exhausted, sometimes angry, sometimes completely alone. And every single time she wanted to walk inside and hug him. But she never did. One Friday night, something happened. Ryan stayed late after everyone left. Helen was vacuuming nearby when she heard him slam his desk. "Damn IT." She froze. Ryan rubbed his face hard. The confident CEO everyone admired suddenly looked like a broken man. His company was losing investors. Employees were quitting. Pressure was crushing him alive. For a second, Helen forgot everything, forgot the loneliness, forgot the missed birthdays, forgot the pain, because to her he was still just her son. She slowly walked toward his office carrying a small paper bag. Inside was a homemade turkey sandwich, his favorite. She left it outside his door with a sticky note. "Don't work too hard, honey." Then she quietly walked away. 10 minutes later, Ryan opened the door. He looked confused. "Who left this?" No answer. He picked up the sandwich carefully. Then his face changed. Because nobody in the world made turkey sandwiches like that except one person, his mother. Ryan slowly looked around the empty office floor. But the cleaning lady was already gone. And he had no idea. His mother had been standing only a few feet away that night. Helen sat alone in her tiny kitchen eating crackers for dinner. Meanwhile, across the city, Ryan stared at that sandwich for nearly an hour. Memories flooded his mind. Sunday afternoons, family dinners. His father laughing at the table, things he hadn't thought about in years. For the first time in a long time, Ryan felt ashamed. But he still didn't know the truth, not yet. And Helen had no idea a massive storm was about to hit both their lives. To be continued. Part 2, the CEO starts asking questions. The next morning, Ryan couldn't stop thinking about the sandwich, not the investors, not the board meeting, not even the millions of dollars sitting on the line, just that sandwich, turkey, Swiss cheese, a little mustard, and the bread lightly toasted exactly the way his mom used to make it. It messed with his head all day. because there was no way his mother had been inside the building. Right, Ryan sat in the boardroom staring blankly while executives argued around him. We're losing European clients. Stock prices dropped again. We need layoffs. Ryan rubbed his temples hard, then suddenly asked, who worked late cleaning the 28th floor last night? The room went silent. One executive blinked. Excuse me, the cleaners, Ryan snapped. Who was there? Nobody knew, because people like cleaners were invisible to them, just background noise. That answer irritated Ryan more than it should have. Meanwhile, downstairs, Helen quietly pushed her cleaning cart through the lobby. Her knees ached badly today. She barely slept last night after realizing Ryan recognized the sandwich. Part of her felt happy. Another part felt terrified. Because if Ryan discovered she worked there, would he feel embarrassed, ashamed? Would he tell her to quit? Those thoughts crushed her chest. Still, she kept working later that evening. Helen entered Ryan's office after hours. It was spotless already, but she liked being there. The office still carried traces of the little boy she raised, a framed baseball photo, an old guitar in the corner, a tiny crack in the bookshelf from when he threw a toy truck at age 10. She smiled softly at the memory. Then she noticed something else. Ryan had fallen asleep on the couch, still wearing his suit, laptop open. Phone buzzing nonstop. The poor kid looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, stress written all over his face. Helen's mother instincts kicked in immediately. She quietly grabbed a blanket from the office chair and covered him gently. Ryan shifted slightly in his sleep, then whispered something that broke her heart. Mom, Helen froze. Her eyes filled instantly. For a second, she almost touched his face, almost woke him up, almost said, I'm here, baby. But she stopped herself, because deep down she knew Ryan wasn't calling for her. He was dreaming about the version of life he lost. The version where family still mattered. The next morning, Ryan woke up confused. The blanket, the cleaned desk, the fresh coffee sitting beside his laptop, and a handwritten note. Try getting some real sleep tonight. Ryan stared at the handwriting, his breathing slowed, because he recognized it immediately. His mother's handwriting. Now panic hit him. He rushed downstairs to security. The old guard looked startled. Sir? Ryan placed the note on the desk. Who's been cleaning my floor? The guard adjusted his glasses nervously. Mostly the night crew, sir. What's her name? The guard hesitated. Miss Helen. Ryan's heartbeat stopped for a second. Helen, no, it couldn't be. Thousands of women were named Helen, right? That night, Ryan stayed hidden inside his office after everyone left. Lights off, door cracked open slightly, waiting, watching. At exactly 10:17 p.m., the cleaning cart appeared, and behind it, a small elderly woman with silver hair and worn sneakers slowly entered the hallway. Ryan felt his stomach twist, because even from far away he recognized her instantly. His mother. She looked smaller than he remembered. Older too. Her shoulders bent slightly from years of hard work. And seeing her pushing that heavy cleaning cart inside his company made something inside Ryan shatter. He couldn't breathe. His own mother cleaning floors while he lived in luxury. And he never even knew. Helen quietly entered his office, unaware he was watching. She picked up empty coffee cups, organized papers, wiped fingerprints from the glass desk. Then she stopped near Ryan's childhood baseball photo. Her fingers touched the frame gently, and softly, almost like a prayer, she whispered, I'm proud of you anyway. Ryan nearly lost it right there. But before he could step forward, two young employees walked past the office laughing loudly. One of them pointed toward Helen. That old cleaner's still here. The other guy smirked. She probably needs the money bad. Then he tossed a crumpled napkin onto the floor she had just cleaned. Ryan's jaw tightened instantly, his fists clenched. But the next moment hurt even more, because Helen quietly bent down and picked it up without saying a word. Something exploded inside Ryan. Years of guilt, neglect, regret, all crashing into him at once. And suddenly, the billionaire CEO didn't feel powerful anymore. He felt like the worst son alive. But Helen still had no idea Ryan was standing only a few feet away in the dark, watching everything. And what he was about to do next would change both their lives forever, to be continued.